Calls for resignation for David Murray, uncollected checks from the UBC, and 4 wins in a row for the Vancouver Canucks. Vancouver News for Thursday, October 26th. I'm Kevin Olenek. Pitt Meadows City Councillors want their colleague David Murray to resign his seat after he was convicted of sexual assault yesterday. Councillor Tracy Miyashita said Murray should do the right thing and resign. Pitt Meadows Mayor John Becker has said there is nothing he or council can do to make Murray resign, and he would not comment on whether Murray should resign before consulting city staff and the city solicitor. Becker also said he would have an in-depth, honest conversation with Murray, whom he calls a friend, whenever Murray was ready to meet him. A former badminton coach has been released on bail after he allegedly sexually assaulted some of his players more than 40 years ago. Harry Charles Saad was arrested last year after Victoria's Police Special Victim Investigators heard from a victim who claimed they had been assaulted by their coach in the 1960s and 70s. More victims came forward during the investigation and claimed they were between the ages of 9 and 15 when the alleged sexual assaults took place. The 71-year-old Saad was facing about 24 charges in relation to 13 victims who came forward. Saad is due back in court on November 15th. A BC Supreme Court justice found Thamer Haman Al-Mustadi not criminally responsible for trying to kill Mary Hale at the Salish House dormitory where they both were living back in October of 2016. The court heard Al-Mustadi, an international student from Saudi Arabia, was suffering from a brief psychotic disorder and believed God had ordered him to make a human sacrifice. UBC is sitting on $5 million in uncollected paychecks and interest. The university has a stash of forgotten checks dated back to the early 90s, and altogether they amount to about 4% of all checks that would have been paid out in the same time period. The checks and all of the interest that has accrued over the years have now been turned over to the British Columbia Unclaimed Property Society. According to a spokesperson, most of the checks are relatively small with an average amount of $500. The federal government has paid a total of $31.3 million in settlements to 3 men wrongfully accused of links to terrorism and tortured in a Syrian prison. Public Safety Minister Ralph Goodale's office said in a statement that this settlement is consistent with the findings of the 2008 federal inquiry into the detentions of the 3 men. The lump sum was split among Abdullah Al-Maki, Ahmad Al-Mahdi, and Muia Nureddin. Officials won't confirm how much of the total $31.3 million each man has received. In the publication of nearly 3,000 previously classified files related to the assassination of John F. Kennedy in 1963, reveals that the FBI had warned Dallas police about a threat to kill Lee Harvey Oswald, and claims that Soviet officials feared an irresponsible U.S. general could launch a missile strike in the wake of the crisis. The U.S. government released 2,800 documents, but President Trump delayed the release of others, saying he had no choice but to consider national security, law enforcement, and foreign affairs. In sports, 4 wins in a row for the Vancouver Canucks. Sven Baertschi had 2 goals and an assist in Vancouver's 6-2 victory over the Washington Capitals. Derek Dorsett had his team-leading 6th goal of the season. Bo Horvat each also added a goal and an assist. Dorsett had an assist as well. The Canucks are now 6-3-1 on the season. Elsewhere in the NHL, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins scored a pair of goals and Leon Draisaitl had 3 assists as the Edmonton Oilers defeated the Dallas Stars 5-4. Carolina Hurricanes beat the Toronto Maple Leafs 6-3, the Bruins over the Sharks 2-1, Penguins over the Winnipeg Jets 2-1, Florida Panthers beat the Ducks 8-3, Lightning over the Red Wings 3-2, Kings shut out the Habs 4-0, Sens over the Flyers 5-4, and the Wild over the Islanders 6-4. In the NFL, Joe Flacco was knocked out of the game with a concussion, but Alex Collins ran for a career-high 113 yards, and the Baltimore Ravens returned 2 interceptions for touchdowns in the most lopsided shutout in their franchise history, 40-0 over the Miami Dolphins. Vancouver weather clear tonight and 7, sunny tomorrow morning and 7, high of 15 tomorrow, and the sunshine continues all weekend, 16 on Saturday, 15 on Sunday. It is currently 8 degrees and clear in downtown Vancouver. That's the news, weather, and sports for Thursday, October 26th. Go to soundcloud.com, KEVOLE, or Spreaker.com, KEVOLE for more. I'm Kevin Olenek.